right, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Stay Together talk show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby and my girl, my boo. Alexa's probably going to jump in here once or twice in a second. But hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad we are on the air.
Yeah, we're having some internal issues here at our location, but we're good with the show here. I think you should see us on Facebook as well, should you? But we're going to go on to the show because we're on Soar Radio, 2-time Stellar Award winner for Best Internet Station of the Year. We got a great show. We don't have any guests. We're going to come back with some guests, but it's just going to be me and Brenda talking on some topics right there. So I'm hoping that she would look to see if we was on Facebook, but we should be out there. And YouTube as well, as I'm trying to look on here too to go to Facebook. But while I'm doing that, you can start talking and make some comments. We are out there, so we're okay. What's you got any praise reports or things you want to say today?
I got a shout out for our girl who used to be one of our resident guests. She has turned 50 years old, Lisa Jenkins. Happy 50th birthday, sweetheart. Happy birthday to Rick singing to you. We love you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. She was one of our people who used to come on weekly or monthly, once a week, monthly on our show, and was sharing some wonderful things in regards to, the things that she's doing in her life. Awesome story, awesome young lady, and I hope you enjoyed your 50th birthday. And I hope you all enjoyed these nice 2 warm days out here in the Chicagoland area, wherever you are. We've had some good weather here. It's 70 yesterday, 60s today. I think it's going to drop down a little. This cord keeps on pulling at me. But we're doing good. I got to see if need to just keep talking while you're on the phone or what?
No, I'm trying to set it up, and I got us finally. I don't know why mine was delayed.
Okay, so I don't think this is April. I don't really have any shout outs for anybody like that. Got to give a shout out to the Rockford Goat here, Kenny Crawford. It always makes sure that our show is working well, and I appreciate him always for doing that.
We do.
And we're going to get going on with our show. A little bit melancholy because of just some interference and stuff like that, but we're going to get this going because we got some good topics we're going to talk about today. Babe, what are we talking about on Christian Real?
I see good.
I see good. I heard, I'm thinking as a Marinette Brown Clark, and she sung this song called I See Good, and it just made me, God, he put in my spirit about, sharing some encouraging words with people and letting them know that throughout your trials and tribulations, whatever you're going through, I see good in you. I can see the goodness of God in you. And so I want to make sure that, people out there who are struggling, who are going through some difficult times, who need some words of encouragement today, babe, that we just, enlighten them and encourage them to see the good within themselves, see the good of the situation, see the good of the outcome. I know things are difficult. I know things can be hard. Life can be challenging. Situations, can change in an instant. You can be, happy in the morning and something can happen so traumatic that it can change the whole perspective of life at an instant. But I want you to see the goodness of the Lord and the good that's in you. You've fallen. You've been taking drugs. You had some alcohol addictions. You've lost jobs. You don't know how you're going to take care of your house. Your marriage is faltering. Your child is causing a lot of issues, not doing good in school. Your child is in prison. Your mate is in prison. But with all of that, God is still telling me to say, I see good. And the reason why that God sees good, babe, is because his word is good. And it says in James 1:17, every good and perfect gift comes from above and cometh down from the Father of light, who has no variables, neither shadows or turning. Every perfect gift, every good and perfect gift comes from above. And that is so important because we have to realize if we say God is good, he said that every good and perfect gift, every good gift and perfect gift comes from God. And so what is that basically saying? That as we accepted Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, which is good because now we have the Spirit of God rest, rule, and abide in us, everything that God has produced is good. So now you have a connection with goodness, and you then yourself have become good because you are associated with God. Because they say there's only one good and perfect gift. The Bible says it was the Lord. There's only one person that's good. And God, Jesus said himself that God is the only one that's good. And so we have that connection. And so I'm saying to you, no matter what you're going through, I see good in you because God is in you. And we're talking to Christians. You haven't accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. This is your time to do so. Just say, Jesus, I love you. I accept you as my Lord and Savior, and I'll live my life according to your will in Jesus' name. And that good that I'm talking about is now in you.
What happens when nobody you're saying it, you trying to make me believe what you're saying? What happens when that individual's like, I don't see what you see, Rick?
Well, here's the thing. The good that I'm talking about, you'll never see because it's a spiritual good. Man in itself is sinful. The Bible says we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. So if you're looking for inner good, as I told Brenda before, I'm not a good husband, I'm an obedient husband. If you're looking for inner good can change. I can be good to one person and not good to the next. Somebody is saying, you think Rick is a good person? I mean, I think he's terrible. He's mean because goodness with inside of humanity can change with any moment. But if we're talking about the spiritual goodness of God that never changes, then you'll never see that. That's something you'll feel. That's something that that comes out. Now this is what the Bible says, and I want to read this, and I wanted to put it on the screen, but I didn't get a chance to do it. It says in Galatians 6, 9, and 10, he says, and let us, I can't even see this thing. Let me put on my glasses. No, I'm going to read Matthews 5 and 16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. So it is the goodness that you're going to look for is within, and that we're all supposed to show the goodness of God. He says, be an example. Let your light so shine. So in order for a light to shine, it has to be a light that never goes out. And so if you're looking for outside appearance of goodness, that can fade. But the Spirit of God that rests, rules, and abides in all of us, that will never leave you or forsaken you, that's the goodness you should look for. So you say, I don't see that. No, you're not going to see it. You have to experience. You have to allow it to absorb you. You have to accept God's goodness. And then from there, you will let it shine so other people can see. And that's the responsibility of all of us. So I'm saying I see good in you. I'm letting my light shine to the point that I'm encouraging you through Christ Jesus that the good that you're looking for will never be seen in the eye, but in the spirit and the soul of man.
That's beautiful. That's inspiring for and encouraging that a person could uplift someone even when they're down and just don't they have low self-esteem, don't believe in anything that they're doing is right. And a Christian, or let's just say we talk about Christian, Christians go to someone and tell them, I see you, I see goodness in you, I see good, even though you might not see it, but I know God got his hand on you and great things ought to come to you if you continue to obey God, walk in the faith of God, do things right, the goodness will come out. But again, I say it is kind of hard when a person is feeling like they beaten down. That I don't see my worth. I don't see no goodness. And apparently, all the stuff I'm going through, I'm being a devil's advocate. All the stuff I'm going through, it don't seem like nothing good is happening. You alive. That's a great thing.
And here's the thing. This is what, and I'm going to go back to my little sheet that I was just looking at a few seconds ago here. I'm hitting everything, and I hope I don't wind up knocking us off or anything. But I'm gonna read my little sheet, put my glasses back on because I can't read it. But this is what Romans 12 and 21 says: do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And so you says, I don't see it. Satan never wants you to see it. He wants you to look at your circumstance and say to yourself, I won't be able to make it. Well, there's something wrong with it. Or even question if God is even there for you. You know we do that. God, why you let me go through this? But if you're looking for the goodness within outside, it's going to perish. It's going to change. But evil never wants you to see good. And I'm going to say this. Thank you, Jesus. Evil will show you a representation of what we believe is good so we could try to achieve it. And then we fail. We feel that we're no good because we look at the achievements of others and say, I want to be where they're at because that's good. And then when we can't get there, we then get this false representation that what we see is good that we can't obtain. Then we start doubting ourselves. So evil is good to give you a representation so that you can see the goodness that you believe you should have, instead of looking within spiritually and understanding that God living into your spirit, giving you the spirit of God within you, is the goodness that's going to take you where you want to go. But that's why the Bible says, be not overcome by evil and the perception that evil will give us in order to make us think, wow, this is good. Because we know a lot of people who have failed from grace. We're talking about pastors and everything else. Oh, my pastor's good. I don't know what you're talking about. We've had pastors fall from grace because Satan will give us the thought process that the goodness that we're looking from comes from humanity, not the one who created man. And so that's what we've got to be careful about. When we say, I see good, it's the God in you that I'm referring to.
And another thing which you're saying that is that because we are a world driven by social media, and when we see that splattered all in our face every day, that people look like they living large, but we all know people live fake lives on social media, but people look like they're living large, they're doing well, they have this, they have all the accolades that you think you should have. And like you said, Satan will have you so wrapped up into what the world is giving you that you could feel less than. Whereas when I always say, know the word for yourself, draw to God, because when you have him as your biggest cheerleader, no one should be depressed. But we know how that go when we have everything slapped in our face. Like, man, it seems like everybody's succeeding, everybody moving on. Life is standing still for me. They just doing what they're doing. And he will bombard you with all of that depression to make you think that you have nothing. And when you do have everything.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We talk about goodness. And you remember that song. Everybody likes it. I can just start singing it now, and Brenda will start jumping. Living my life like it's golden. Living my life like it's golden, golden. You've heard that.
Okay.
Living my life like it's golden, golden. Yeah. But what happens when that gold tarnish? When what your that golden comes from is what man provides and not the Son of Man. When that tarnish, we see a lot of people. We've seen actors, we've seen musicians, we've seen singers and everything. When their period is over, they don't know how to handle the fact that they were in a position of good in the world, and then things change to the point where that good feeling of feeling golden has tarnished to the point they have nothing at all. There have been people, Christian Real here, that have killed themselves because they've lost the position of feeling golden in the eyes of others and do not see the spiritual love or the spiritual movement of God in their lives that will never change, that is good, that will never leave them, forsake them, because they're looking for the respect and the love of man. If you like me, then I must be good. If you put me on a pedestal, I must be good. And then we try to reach where they are, because if we can get there, that means we're successful. We're good. But it changes, people. But God, let me say, but God, goodness, when we're talking about, never changes. So when you sit there and say, I don't see it, I don't, you're looking for the world's goodness and not God's goodness. Go ahead, baby.
You're looking for that validation from the world, whereas God already validated you. Only thing you have to do is get in alignment and see the validation. But we know, as I say, it's easier said than done, but because, like I said, if you seek God, He will strengthen you, build you up, have you believe in. I don't care what the world, how they view me. Long as God see me as worthy, long as God validate me, long as God keep me and say, you're my perfect child, you're doing good. Other than that, the validation of man and society doesn't mean a thing. Yes, it's nice. We know it's nice for someone to recognize the accolades, the achievements that you've done. Okay, that's fine and good. But as you said before, so many people has fallen. I mean, people from presidents, pastors, preachers, doctors, lawyers, because they never felt good enough. They didn't see all the things that God seen in them.
And I can sing another song for you, and you start popping your head on, okay, which is a good song that Mrs. Winans you sing. Long as I got King Jesus, long as I got King Jesus, long as I got him, I don't need nobody else.
There you go. Perfect.
And see, and then she says, wait a minute, I got him. Okay. The recognition that you got Jesus puts you in a position of being good. I want you to hear that.
I like that.
The representation that you know you got Jesus puts you in the position of being good. The representation of man only validates you for that moment that you might be good.
And it sets you for the fall with the man in the world. When God puts you in that line, sets you up for it, for the goodness, you don't have nothing to worry about. Once He put His stamp of approval on it, it's like, that's smooth sailing. Stay in your lane, do what God have you to do, and believe me, you won't falter. I mean, you might have a little setback, but that setback is always great for the comeback. So, hey, give me another tune with that one.
And here's the thing. When I know spiritually that I'm in God's favor, His goodness, then I don't have to worry about trying to climb a ladder that can bring me down at the same time it tries to pull me up. And I don't get caught by trying to reach somewhere that will only hang me once I get there. I want you to hear that. Because what happens a lot of times when people get stardom, it's hard to stay there. It's hard to stay there. You know, Janet said, "What have you done for me lately?" You remember that? What they're looking for, what you've done for them lately. And then sometimes we get so big-headed, we think that we've arrived.
Yeah.
And in a moment, and an instant, something can happen, and all of a sudden they raiding your house and saying you having these crazy parties. Y'all know who I'm talking about. To a point now that name is going to be tarnished from the high place that people put him and others ascended him to, and others wanted to be there, now are scattering because man goodness is temporary. So stop looking for that. When you say, "I don't see it in me," well, then don't look for it outside of you. Look inside of you. And that's where you'll see it at.
I'm gonna say amen.
And, you know, one thing I'm gonna start closing this up in a second. We're talking about I see good, and I want to tell people out there, you should always see the good in you. If you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, God's goodness is always in you, and it should always supersede anything that you think is bad. Let me tell you something. It's by the grace of God that I make it every day. It's not because of I think I'm good or I think I'm all right. I know he's good, and I know his goodness lives in me. I heard this earlier, and it really made me think about something. It says, at the end of the day, if you can look in the mirror and ask yourself, if you've done better today. If the answer is yes, do that for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years. And basically what he's saying is every day you will see a situation where you've done better than the next. And I love that. I love that. But it's false. It's what we do sometimes in mankind. We like to have these good, words or phrases of encouragement. But we do know that there are days that are going to end, and I'm not going to say I did good, or it was good, or things went good.
All is well.
The Bible doesn't even tell us that. It tells us, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. It tells us to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. What I'm going to give you is the word. And the word tells you that we're going to have difficult days. But I will tell you this, if your day ends with God, you've already set yourself up for a new tomorrow that's better than the day. And so that's good because your day ended with God. But hear this, if you begin your day with God, he has never promised you that everything's going to be good. So it's wonderful when we have these, these phrases that, pump people up like, oh, that made me feel so. I believe I'm going to make sure every day ends better than the next. Live longer, you're going to find out that ain't going to happen. Okay? That's just like doing a New Year's resolution. About day 3 or 3 weeks, you done.
Day 3.
It's not going to happen. And God has never promised us that every day would be good. But what he did promise us, that I see good in you, is that if you stay with him, he'll never leave you or forsake you. That he'll do exceedingly abundantly more than you can ask or think. And so that's the good you should be obtaining or looking for. I'm going to end my day with God, which means the next day starts with God. And as long as I can end my day the way I started, I've already made sure that my tomorrow starts good. Therefore, I see good in you. And that's the good you should be looking for. God's goodness, not man. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I got Kenny be playing some songs. And Kenny, if you can, I know I might be, a little late. You may not be able to get this in there because I know the song we're going to be playing is going to be Mariette Brown Clark's "I See Good," and I still want that to play. But if you can find that Winans girl song, "Long as I Got King Jesus," and you could play that too, play that also, because I want people to know that the goodness that she's talking about is King Jesus. Hey, we're going to go to the break. For those of you all that are listening to us on Facebook and YouTube, stay with us because we got some stories we're going to share. We're going to have the music play, and we'll be right back. This is Rick McCain along with my baby, my girl, my boo. Let's stay together, talk on Soul Radio. Come back now. All right. So those of you all on Facebook, we've got some things we're going to talk about on our end here. I got to make sure I open up this thing right without closing it. There we go. Because I can't get this on the other side. But, hey, babe, what you got for us for the Facebook? Hey, Facebook, YouTube. Go tell somebody. Go tell it on the mountain that Let's Stay Together is on. Go tell somebody that the show is on, and we're providing wisdom of God to everyone who wants to hear us.
Amen.
What you got, babe? Huh? Yes, sir. Thank you. Go ahead.
One of the stories is quite interesting. Good Times original stars John Amos and Bernadette Stanis respond to reactions to animated Netflix reboot trailer. Now, Norman Lear, he did this, and it wasn't intended to be a bad thing. It was just a reboot of Good Times, the sitcom, in a comedy form with the same name. It's getting mixed reactions because people are like, you can't even compare that with that. But I think Stannis, Bernadette, she did a voiceover for it, a part. Some other people did voiceover for this Norman Lear show, and they didn't know the extent of how far they was going to go with this show. Some like James Evans, he's like, no, this is not a good thing, and it's like it's not going to live up to the original. It's not going to be, as pertinent as the meaning of what the show was back in the 70s. I'm not sure why Mr. Norman Lear wanted to do this, but he had a lot of people on board, and even Bernadette said she didn't know it was going to be like this. She was just doing voiceovers for the show, just to be a part of it, and a lot of people didn't pull it out from it, babe.
I'm surprised you. I'm not surprised you started off with the Good Time story before the other ones, because you really got into that just recently. If you're doing voiceovers for us, you should know really what it is, and I don't know if that's just. You can't say, I didn't really know what it was. Well, you should have, done your research on it, due diligence. I think John Amos was basically saying that he's not going to say anything about it because he didn't really get a chance to see any of it himself. So he's not going to say anything against it. But basically he was saying is that it could never, capture the realness of the original sitcom. Which you may be right. It may. I think this is animated, right? Mm-hmm. So it may capture that same situation and people today. I think some of the problems may have is that I think black society thinks that we've overcome and that Good Times from that day is really not prevalent as today. If you ask Tim Scott, definitely he'll say that. But you have to know who Tim Scott is. But I'm not sure. I think that it could be something that can be very educational and helpful for a young generation to see this and see the struggles that African Americans went through in the 70s and relive it, just like the 12 smooth stones of of Israel, of Judah, when they constantly tell their people about the tribes of Israel and what they went through. This could be, very educational to help people understand, hey, those are some struggles. I mean, you may think we're not going through any now. You're a little bit blind and naive, but hey, look at this was some struggles back then, and so hopefully it'll be able to hit on that, and you just have to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, Stannis did say that a lot of viewers who are outraged at the new series might not know why the series is using Good Times name. So I think a lot of people thinking Good Times was Good Times in a league of its own back in the 70s. If you're going to do an animation, and it seemed like it's similar to what we grew up on, but then they saying it's a little different, but the same premise is there, and the people don't like you messing with something that was iconic.
Well, I mean, I think the thing about it is that one, if it's going to educate us about the history of the struggles of African Americans, then it's beneficial. Yeah, it may change a little bit. You may not have a JJ in there. You may not have certain things in there. But if it gives the same premise, it's understandable. And I'm quite sure the people of Good Times was getting some kind of revenue from that, so they don't care. But I don't have an issue with that because I'm quite sure if they did Friends in an animated thing, people would be like ecstatic. So as long as they don't diminish or water down the meaning and the effect of Good Times, then I don't see a problem with that.
I do want to end with this story with this last statement. Probably a lot of people don't know how Hollywood works. A lot of times you use a certain name to open up the door for a new show. That could be what it is, she said. But I'm sure a lot of people will be a little confused at first because they have to think that's us. And they not trying to do that. So
okay,
good luck with that show.
We'll see. I mean, you just have to watch it when it comes. Did they say when it's coming out by any chance? No, who's producing it? Oh, Steph MacFarlane and Steph Curry are producing it. I know Kenny probably can't hear. That is interesting because isn't Steph MacFarlane the same person that did? Yes, yeah. I mean, he does a good. I mean, those shows are good, so it might be interesting. You are talking on the radio right now, right? Oh, because they probably said, What is he doing?" So Kenny, our producer, is telling us some things,
Good
which he could easily
informative
just get on
things.
there and tell you guys. Okay,
Oh,
but I
okay.
mean, okay, but go ahead. So I'm gonna let Kenny say something to me while Brenda's talking.
Okay. Steph McFarlane. I can't.
Oh wow, wait a minute. So I mean, did you not read that they said that the baby in there's a drug dealer?
The baby?
What baby? They got a baby and there's a drug dealer. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's gonna be some problems. So we got Kenny, our producers, telling us some things about that. That right there is a problem.
That is just making us look bad again as a race.
I mean, it is very stereotypical, right? I mean, now right there, a baby being a drug dealer is very stereotypical, and it's unnecessary. So yeah, that can be. But Steph Curry is involved in this, and
That's the basketball player.
yeah, how would I mean that's terrible that you would allow something like that. So I mean, I would be outraged too with something like that. With the baby, and because one of the things that the father was fighting was to make sure his kids didn't fall into the drug and the gang life, and he wanted to get out of the projects, fighting hard to keep his kids in school, and he had the traditional values of a black man struggling, in a world that didn't want to even provide him a job, but he's out there doing the best that he can to take care of his family, and all of a sudden you're gonna go from there to a baby being a drug dealer. Yeah, that might be a problem, yeah. Huh? Okay. So that might be a problem. I really think that might be a problem.
And
So
I
I'm
don't
looking
know.
with Kenny. Ooh, Lord.
Let me read I don't know why they
Look
would
at that.
think that's okay.
I guess we're not back on the air yet, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna read this.
Okay.
Celebrating its 50th anniversary this year after premiering in February 1974, Good Times focused on the Chicago-based Evans family with Norman Lear produced series running for 6 seasons.
Stop. Kenny, how long will we have before we go back on the air? 30 seconds. When I've stopped and I get Brenda rolling her eyes, I want us to talk about this when we get back on the air, too. So, I mean, this is something I want us to talk about on the air. Because hearing that, what Kenny is telling us, that's crazy. I mean, the kid is a drug. I mean, whoa.
When we say, you said baby, is it
Yeah.
a baby or a kid? That's weird too. But what,
does it have it in there? Okay, we'll let you read that, but you ain't gonna start with that. But hey, everybody that's on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and YouTube.
I just seen it.
We're gonna talk about this, or it's Good Times thing, and talk a little bit about that. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Let's Stay Together talk show on Soar Radio. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo. I'm going to tell you, y'all be missing some stuff if you're not also looking at us on Facebook and YouTube, because we're talking about some stories. And we were talking about the new animated thing for Good Times, and then our producer, the Rockford Goat, Kenny Crawford, just blew our mind. So, baby, I don't want you to start with that. Tell them a little bit about the story first, about the animated Good Times, and then we can see why the controversy is going on.
Okay, we're going to start this with Good Times. You're supposed to have the music rolling.
Okay.
Original stars John Amos and Bernadette Stannis respond to reactions to animated Netflix reboot trailer. This is done by Norman Lear. Now, both of them have their, reasons of not really getting on board with it, because it's a lot of things that are the same, like the Good Times name, and a lot of things that are not the same of the premise of the groundbreaking show back in 74 that make you go, and I'm about to read why you're gonna go,
I don't want you to do that yet, because I made a statement when we was on Facebook and YouTube that I don't really see an issue with it, as long as it's basically given the same premise of Good Times, because Good Times at that time was talking about the struggles of African Americans in the 70s that they had to go through. And you had this strong black father who was standing for his kids to make sure that they, that JJ and Michael didn't get into gangs, and there was a Thelma, went the right way. I don't know if there was nothing about her, living a unholy life, but he wanted to make sure she lived the right way. Wanted JJ to, advance in his arts, and Micah was like the smart one there. And so he was fighting, for that, for his family. And so it had a good value. Norman Lear had good values for African Americans. And I said to myself, well, if that's the case and they're still following that, then that animated series should be okay. And John Amos said he hasn't watched it, so he wasn't sure. So I'm like, okay, let's watch it. But our producer, the Rockford Goat himself, Kenny Crawford, gave us some information that just blew my mind that Brenda's about to read now.
It's gonna blow your mind even further.
Celebrating
its 50th anniversary this year after premiering in February 1974, Good Times focused on the Chicago-based Evans family with the Norman Lear produced series running for 6 seasons and earning praise for its realistic portrayal of a working-class black family. After the first promo debuted last week for Netflix, animated exploration of the Evans family's current generation, plenty of social media users expressed surprise that the new series, which appears to double down on stereotypes with such elements as, you ready, babe?
Yeah.
A drug dealing infant, not baby, not toddler, not youth, not child, not teenager, infant, didn't highlight the positive themes from the initial show. Ain't nothing positive about that.
And you know what surprises me, I guess, was Seth Farland is producing it, and Steph Curry, the wholesome Steph Curry and his little
Right.
family are involved in this. And I'm like, wait a minute. When Kenny brought that to our attention, I'm like, wait a minute. A drug addict baby. You know what? When I heard that, a drug addict baby, and I know some of y'all Christians, y'all act like you don't listen to it, and I've heard them. I've heard them before. So y'all can you can put me in hell later on. But it reminds me of David Chappelle, a story that David Chappelle one time, he said, people think that I'm tough, but I'm not tough. And he was talking about his limo driver going to a location, and he was supposed to be taking him home, and the limo driver found out something was wrong was happening. So the limo driver took him to that location in this ghetto area, and David Chappelle was scared, and he looked to the side, and he saw a baby out there about 2:00 in the morning, and the baby was selling weed, and it made me think. I'm like, wait a minute, how you gonna take the good times and use it as a Chappelle scenario where the baby in the series, not just once, and it's a baby. He ain't okay. He sent the full article, so you can look at that. I mean, how do you, and the picture? Kenny said the full article and the picture. Kenny, where can you find this article and the picture of the baby at? Can you tell me that? Oh, so the trailers. So the show premieres on the 12th of April. So the show premieres on the 12th of April. You can see the premieres
Right,
now
right.
with the baby selling drugs. Lord have mercy, the baby selling drugs. Wait a minute now. That in itself just blew me away because it's bad enough that we got enough stereotypical ideas about black people. Now, even the baby is no good. He starts off as a drug dealer. You remember, I don't know, some of y'all are older than me. You remember back in the day when they would teach us, that maybe you should, go into a custodian field or, maybe, work at, I'm not going to say the post office, but some kind of low level thing because you're really not going to be able to be intelligent enough to get a college degree. They would tell people that back then, even back in the 60s when I was there, they really did it in the 50s and 40s and 30s for blacks because they felt they were never going to make it anywhere in life because they didn't have the intelligence to do so. Now you get a series that starts off with a baby's life being nothing more than a drug dealer? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at this trailer. They do have the ghetto that they stayed in and have them in the same apartment look like. It's 2024, let's put it that way. What this reminds me of Fresh Prince, and it was Bel Air.
Yeah.
When Carlton was a drug addict. I'm like, what? Wholesome Carlton, how they updated it, and that's how they see
Yeah,
us.
but that movie was still, and that show
got
was sitcom.
Jesus on the floor. Lord
That sitcom was still a positive aspect because you had the father and stuff like that was rich, so they kind of symbolized the Cosbys, but yet you had the wild and crazy Fresh Prince that was kind of changing. This show, you can't even tell me there's anything positive about this when the baby's a drug addict.
You gotta see the baby. Baby sucking on the
I'm
pop
like,
and he a drug addict.
I mean, he almost looked like Stewie from the other thing anyway. What is it? Family Matters. I'm like, oh my God.
you
Yeah,
just messed me up, kid.
Lord. I pulled this story out, and thank you for Kenny for pulling some. Yeah, you done messed us all up because ain't no way. And HE double two picks, they should be having something like this on there.
I do want to see an episode like how bad is this?
I mean, you know what? I would be angry about seeing an episode like that, and it looked like, oh, this is kind of good. No, how many times have we got to sit there and try to make the African American society look bad? I mean, what made you think that? We were just about I See Good. What makes you think
You see how quick
that
society
anybody is
is?
going to see anything good in there?
Oh.
I mean, we had shows like Cosby on there, and even Claudine. Those shows were to show the positive image of black people and how they could strive over struggles. What is this basically telling a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old when they see a cartoon that has a baby selling drugs?
And he wrapped in his gold jewelry. He counting his paper. And then the mama looked like she just a hood rat. I'm sorry, Florida Evans would have had a. This show is it's gonna be interesting.
I can't believe that the NAACP is not going to fight up against this. But I mean, this is not a positive perspective of Black America, and and some people say, "Oh, it's just a cartoon." No, it's
Yeah.
not. Let me tell you something. They were concerned. I'm just going to say this. The white race was concerned when Bugs Bunny used to come on and fall off of a cliff or knock somebody off of a cliff, that it was too violent. It would set a bad precedence for our children. They're upset when rock and roll music came out. They didn't like when videos came out, which is and some of them I say I agree with. When they had these, videos where they were killing everybody. I forgot what most of the name of these videos are called, but they didn't like that. How do you set a precedent that is okay for us to show a black child as a drug addict? Okay, let me ask you this question, Steph Farland. Why can you have a white baby in there as a drug addict? And good times. White people have slums and living bad too. Why don't have the black family as a positive example, and show a white child as as a drug addict?
That's not realistic.
That's not gonna happen. And it's not realistic that a baby is a drug dealer either. Oh, I said drug dealer. Kenny didn't blew me away with this one. I don't even know if I want to talk about anything else than that. That is ridiculous. But we got to go on. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about when it comes on anymore because I really
Steph
don't want you to watch.
Farley?
Steph Farley, he
Is he
made
one of them?
Family Matters. What else did he make? Steph McFarlane. Thank you, Steph McFarlane. Family Guy and the Cleveland Show. Yeah, and I've seen those shows and they're funny. I mean, it's Family Guy is a little raunchy, but Stewie is funny. Brian is funny.
This individual is Caucasian.
Yeah, I mean he does some great voiceovers too. I mean, but
again,
here's another
telling
problem
our
I have.
story.
Why is there a white man
Yes.
doing this?
Well, you got Steph Curry. You didn't join forces with him.
But I
to
mean-
the Rachel race.
I don't know. Can we go on?
Yeah, because that's just what's our next?
Help me,
topic?
Jesus. Long as I got King Jesus.
You want to do our next
Yeah.
topic?
You know what? I think there was something that I wanted to talk about, and I can't. I'm so thrown off. I don't know what to talk about. We're just going to talk about a couple of subjects here. I'm gonna have Brenda's subjects probably when we go there, and I think we'll probably talk a little bit later about keeping the fire. But I was watching this thing in here in Chicago, Illinois. So for those of you all that may be listening, in different locations, I'm talking about what happened in Chicago. And it's something that really worried me, Brendan, and I ask you to add into it as well. As a black man, as a young black man in the Chicagoland area or any large metropolitan city, I was always concerned about how the police might perceive me. Now, I was a smart aleck kind of guy back in my 20s. I had my Camaro Z28 driving around and stuff like that, having a good time. And so if the police said something to me, I would be smart mouth back. But in that day, I mean, there seems to be like a situation where the policeman didn't throw you on the ground, beat you up, anything like that. You know, you didn't go out of bounds with it, but you was able to get a little smart mouth. But those days seem to be over. When now, you know, a police officer can have his knee on your neck for 8 to 9 minutes, shoot you, trying to get back into your vehicle. And this one troubled me because I thought I was foolish. I want to say this. I was foolish enough to think that I had gotten to the age that I don't have to worry about being a black man and the police bothering me. But I saw this video here about what happened in Chicago. The man's name is Dexter Reed. And the police was stopping this man because they said he didn't have a seatbelt on. And if you look at the thing, it says, if you just look for Dexter Reed, you'll see the articles out there. The car had tinted windows, so I don't know how they would have seen that. But the guy didn't want to get out of his car, rolled his window down, rolled it back up. They told him to get out of his car. They said he fired first. You know, that's what police are saying. They're going to do more investigating on that. But they shot at this man 96 times. 96 times, an equivalent of about maybe 4 or 5 policemen in a neighborhood of other black citizens that could have been hurt or injured from this. They shot at this man 96 times, and there were 3 or 4 shots after the man fell down to the ground after shooting at him that many times and hitting him. Obviously, he falls down to the ground. They say, put your hands up. He on the ground. And they shoot him 3 more times. This happened in March 21st, 2024. So it kind of unnerves me that I have to be at my age. I'm 63, y'all. Proud of him. God and let me live to 63. I hope he let me live to 60 more. I'll accept it. But I'm more afraid of those who are supposed to protect me than those that people tell me I should be afraid of. I can get stopped at a traffic light and get shot 96 times. And I'm going to say something people ain't going to like. The brother should have got out the car. I'm just going to say it. You look at the video. They asked him to get out the car. He didn't get out the car. He should have just got out the car. We should know that by now. That old song, if you don't know by now, you'll never know. We should know by now. To save your life, get out of that car, because if they think that their lives are threatened, you done. So he should have got out the car. But Brenda, 96 shots and 3 while he's on the ground? Come on.
Oh, so they was about to unload 100 almost.
Well, I'm counting that 3 with the 96.
Okay, now this is excessive shooting. No reason to go overboard with that, but driving while black. Yes, he should have obeyed them, and get out the car, but that does not give them the right to kill. Not lame, because they don't shoot to lame anymore, they shoot to kill, but to kill a man like that. First thing is, you stop this man in his white truck. Was that a truck or a car? That you stopped him because he didn't have on a seatbelt. But like you said, the windows are tinted. And how did you see that? Don't know, unless you had a trace on this car. Thought this person had drugs on him or something. No matter what the reason, this man should not have lost his life because he did not get out of the car. Now, to continuously shoot him that many times in the car, and then when he get out and get on the ground, you continue to shoot him. Please play back that police camera tape that y'all have. Please play it back, because then too, even if you do, is anything going to be done? I fear for my life. He's in his car. You didn't say nothing about he had a gun turned on you. So what are you fearing for your life? Stuff is not making sense anymore. 2024, round and round, here we go again with excessive shooting. Shoot to kill. It's crazy. That's what we're doing now. And that's what they said, well, that's what we have to accept. No, that isn't what we have to accept in this world. But it seems as though the harder we fight, 2 steps forward, 5 steps backward. Yeah, he didn't get out. And I hope people don't just linger on that. He should have obeyed them. It just, Rick, it doesn't seem right. It just doesn't.
And the thing is this. This is not an indictment on the whole police society, because we need police. I mean, we need to understand, look back at the history of why policemen were brought into the United States. Police were brought in to control slaves.
Is that so?
Okay.
Don't make me even.
We talked about this before. So you have to know why they were able to police in, and then when segregation came in, why they felt that they need police. And then even when they decided to hire African American policemen, they could not arrest white people. So look at the history of police force, and you'll be able to see, what that is. I think Mary's got a statement out there, Brenda. I can't really read it from here, but you don't see the statement because I just saw it. It's
earlier.
Oh,
okay. Now it popped.
Okay, so it's a shame of the history of that, but we do need police to protect us. I'm gonna let you read that, and I'm gonna go on.
Okay. From Mary Silla, CPD released the video today. They claim he shot first. 97 shots is beyond excessive.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. He shot first. Okay. That warrants maybe a couple of shots. Now, we've seen videos where white people shot first and the police just run and say, put your gun
Shots
down.
fired.
Put your gun. They don't say that. They just put your gun down. We don't want to harm you. I mean, they give them every opportunity to live. This is the problem that we have in our society, where good is not good anymore. We just talked about, I see good, because we're looking for individuals to be good. And the system that they follow is, if it's good and no one's following that system, then there's not any good in there. We do need police officers, and unfortunately, we do need policing in the United States and across the world, but not at the point where they become judge, jury, and executioner. And this is not something that should be done against anyone, black, white, Jew, Gentile, whatever. The unfortunate thing about it is that we're talking about it more in black communities. And because this is happening, the perception is that the black person is doing something to have this happen to them. They're not doing anything different than anybody other race is. If they're breaking the law, then they should be arrested, not killed. Now, the lawyer that they have is saying that this was a unlawful. They had no lawful reason to stop him. You're gonna stop a man because he didn't have a seatbelt on. I mean, in the state of Illinois, it's a law that you have to wear your seatbelt. Now, they're gonna say this. I mean, let's just call it what it is. They're gonna say that. But okay, fine. You give him a ticket. He doesn't want to roll down his window, But again, now I don't know.
Okay.
Did the guy shoot? Maybe he did. But 96 times is too much.
I'm still just saying the sad part about this is blame. It's enough blame to go around. But unfortunately, only one person walked away from that incident. But what gets me is the elephant in the room. I'm not even about the dog, the cop out, even though excessive is excessive, he wrong. We get that. This dude driving around with a gun in his car. So, I mean, that makes it bad. It's like, dude, you driving around with a gun in your car. Tinted windows are legal now, but how you got stopped and pulled over, and he asking you to get out of your car, you refuse, and you take your gun to try to shoot the cop. I'm not saying he deserved any of it. By no means don't misconstrue what I am saying. What I'm saying is driving black in Chicago or anywhere in America, and you got a gun and you're going to pull it out on the cop, not saying he deserved 97. It could have been a warning shot the cop could have done, but they don't even do that anymore.
Well, let's just say this much. I mean, the old saying, the two wrongs don't make it right.
No.
If you have a gun in your car and it's visible to an officer, it is deemed as a threat to their lives, and they will come against you for that. The problem is the excessiveness. Now, we're talking about this. We're talking about policemen. There were black policemen in that scene. There were Latino policemen in the scene. There were white policemen at the scene. So it's not. This isn't a racial thing there. The fact of the matter is that what makes it racially unequal is that I don't believe that same situation would have happened if that man's color was lighter, like white.
We know.
You got another comment I thought I saw in there? That's a shame. You should be saying something soon. You got a delayed or something over there, but it's a shame when that happens, and that's what's got to stop. When we're singling out one race as though they are more deserving of fear than another.
I do have a delay. Exactly, Rick. Case in point, white man shot 9 people inside a black church. He lived, and they bought him lunch from McDonald's before they drove him to jail. What happened to shoot to maim? That don't happen no more, Mary.
No, they if that was something, I think we may have seen that a lot on TV. You know, it's so funny to me. I like the FBI series, and there's always a run series in there. They never want to shoot anybody, but that's not real life.
She said, "Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not wrong."
No, you're not. Hey guys, I had to bring this story up because I just saw it in there, and it was so excessive. And it's a frightening thing as a black male, and it's happened to black females. Just driving while black. It has to change, and it's up to us as Christians to start speaking out on this. We pray about it. We in church, and Pastor. We've got to start stepping out and start speaking up about saying, hey, fairness. I mean, if you're not going to shoot 96 times at a white person, don't shoot 96 times at a black person.
Stop.
I mean, it's that simple. This is Christian real. Don't if you can make a differentiate because you think my skin makes me more of a danger to your skin just because of the color of it, that my hue scares you. And so now you have to use excessive force. How do you know? I mean, you shot 10 times. You shot 20 times. Did you see the man moving? He didn't shoot back. They said he shot once. You shoot 30 times.
I mean,
did
if
he
this
move?
was a shootout, then do whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
wow.
Did you? I mean, even that. The problem I also have is you're in a community. Why are you shooting 96 times in a community? Let them drive off.
They don't care, especially if it was in a black
I mean,
community.
you're stopping this man for a traffic violation. Okay, they saw a gun. They didn't want to let him drive off. But you're in a community.
Okay, if that, I really do believe if that was in a white neighborhood, it wouldn't escalate it like that. Because it's like we don't want stray bullets killing anyone in this community. I'm not sure where that took place at, but apparently it did not matter.
Hey, we're going to go on a little bit on that. I mean, that when I saw the story today, it wasn't something I was going to bring in there. But when I saw that, it's just chilling to know that at any moment, a life can be over for the simplest of things. And can I say this to my black people? Stop doing things to give cause. Stop. I don't care how bad you think you are. You can't beat a bullet.
Can't outrun it. Can't beat it.
Okay? Stop giving cause. Martin Luther King march, a peace march, a non-violent march. The people beat them and everything, and they never resorted to violence. The Civil Rights Act was won because of a non-violent movement. You're not going to be able to beat a gun with a knife, and you're definitely not going to beat it with your swag or your toughness, because the gun doesn't see that. The bullet doesn't see that. It sees a target and it hits it. Don't be a target. Stop being the target for these issues. And I don't know if the brother shot at first or not, but one shot should not equal 69. We got to go on
96.
96, I'm sorry. One shot should not equal 96. And that just bothers me. So we're going to play some more music here right now. I don't want to do too much talking on that. We're going to go to McCain Train request, and then we're going to be playing the Maverick City Singers. They'll be playing Working It Out for My Good. I mean, we've got to start working things out for our good. It takes prayer, and we're going to start praying for everyone here in the United States that we can find some kind of similarities instead of always focused on our difference. This is Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Listen up to this music commercial, and we'll be right back. All right, man, that just blows me away, but we're going to move on. You got some more stories, babe?
I do. This one is with Cat Williams. His stand-up show was canceled after massive brawl breaks out. Now, we know Cat is a little raunchy, and his brand of comedy is out there, but he be true to form, and what he be saying is just how he says it. And as a result, sometimes the show get a little rowdy. This particular show in Indianapolis, babe, that weekend, the show got shut down and was canceled because while he trying to make people laugh on stage, a big brawl was going on that led security to go with flashlights to see what was going on. And when he caught wind of it, the people was bloodied up. They had to leave out the arena. Blood everywhere. And it's like, still don't know. I mean, Kenny, if you know, let us know. Don't know why they was fighting and what was going on, but they did have them exit the building, and from that point, the show was canceled. Kind of bad. Everybody say he started off on a high this year, saying what he was going to say about the other former comedians and everything. His name was on high, but the thing to get me, that don't have anything to do with why this show was canceled. But I don't like seeing people putting 2 and 2 together to make it 4, which is like, unless somebody set that up to try to make them look bad, I don't know.
Well, the unfortunate thing about it is that, the fight broke out. Cat Williams is a little, raunchy. So is Dave Chappelle. You get some, comedians there, but Dice Clay, and it's Clay Dice. I think it's Dice Clay or so. You've got raunchy white comedians as well. It's the fact of the matter that somebody's ego got in the way. And you know, I'm not really trying to get into all this blackness today, but it's
Been thrust upon us.
it's we've got to find a way to support our brothers instead of fighting. You know, sometimes just walk away, you know. Hey, bro, you know, that's cool, no problem. The problem is that sometimes is that the other brother will think that's a weakness and he tries to push forward. And we need to squash all that stuff. I mean, I'm looking for our younger generation to step up and say, hey, we need to get back to that, you know, Black Power movement where we empower each other financially, you know, spiritually, socially, economically. And we learn how to do things that is going to lift the black man up. Because the black man is a dangerous species. They trying to get rid of us, y'all. Okay, let's just call it like it is. There is no format for the success of the black man. There's no format for that. There's a format for other success. Now, we're guilty for not having our own format in place. But because we don't have the financial and economical power, we're limited in what we can do. But remember, back in Black Wall Street, what blacks were able to do when they came together. We have to get back to that mentality. The problem with the fight is that we were fighting the wrong thing, each other. We should be fighting the reason why there's a fight out there against us. I'm not saying fight other people, because I just told you that Martin Luther King did a nonviolence. Fight the mentality of thinking that you can achieve without bringing your brother down. That's what we need to fight. The mentality that if my brother reaches there and I look at it as good, we're going to go back to that again. I don't have to hate on him because he's there. But what I would like for that brother to do is help me get there.
You know what? This is interesting because they said Cat Williams was slammed over explosive interview. You know how?
Yeah, when he did with Shannon. Shannon, I forget what Shannon's last name. He's on Shannon Sharp.
Club Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
When he scorched, as they said, the comedian Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, Cedric the Entertainer, just to name a few. But is it Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle, he said the reactions to the viral interview were in support of Williams, but not everybody was a fan. Fellow comedian Dave Chappelle apparently is not standing in support of Williams, while Chappelle was not one of them to support him like that. He was saying it's white comedians that's out there doing that. Why you got to bring us down? Why why you have to talk about us? There's so many other ones that's doing that. You didn't say nothing about them. Say, why particular us? Why not the other ones that ain't done nothing to get where they at, but you don't say nothing? So it's like the way he's saying it, well, what's worse? You downing us as a race? And you ain't saying nothing about the other ones, and I'm like, I don't know which way you want to go with that, Chappelle, but he's standing his ground and said that he didn't like it, didn't want to, partake in any of that. And he also, when he called out Kevin Hart, it's like this man already had what he needed to have before he went to Hollywood with movie setups, comedy shows set up, which I'm still saying, isn't that the reason why he went to Hollywood, because he had that?
Yeah, well, going back to the fight, it's unnecessary. Basically, what it is, it's just unnecessary. There's not. I mean, we don't have anything to fight each other about. What do I care that you made a comment about me, or somebody got loud and somebody said shut up, and I mean,
what that seems like.
we got to squash all this stuff.
what was his name? Malcolm X. Get your hand out my pocket.
Yeah.
Fight broke out. I think that might have been something just to defame him in his show, and somebody working with other people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing about it is, you know, the cancel culture is going to bring it back to Cat Williams. The issue is not Cat Williams; it's the fact that we're fighting each other. We're not crabs in a barrel. We're kings.
But if
So
you
when we
don't
start thinking of,
believe
Yeah.
it,
when we start seeing ourselves as kings and not crabs, we'll be all right.
you got those king
Kenny, how many
crabs.
how many seconds we got left before we go back on? Okay, we got about 40 seconds. We go back on, everybody.
Quick swing.
God had put this in a different location here, so we're talking about some things here. You got quick second for what?
Tune me out. South Carolina women's head coach Don Staley is not apologizing for comments about believing in God. I'm going to sum this up. And she should not have to apologize about believing in God. Her statement didn't seem like it was wrong at all to me.
Well, we're not going to sum that up because I want to talk about that also on the show. We get about maybe 10 seconds before we go back on the air. All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo. God has taken us to this I see good thing and took it to the different level here, where we was talking about one man here in Chicago that got shot 96 times because he had a seatbelt violation. There was another story that I thought was very interesting, and I want you to go to. I don't want to go to the Dawn thing, but I want to lighten it up just a little. Go to the car thing. Did you pull that up? Where the lady had the car was on a.
I don't think so.
Okay, I got to pull this there. So supposedly, here we go. This lady, she was given a $105 speeding ticket. Okay, older lady. I guess it doesn't matter if she's old or not. She was given a $105 speeding ticket for her car being on a tow truck. I hope y'all heard that.
Make that make sense to me.
I was hit with a $105 speeding ticket while my car was on back of a tow truck. City even had a photo of the evidence. Now, they have a evidence of her car being on a tow truck, and she got a ticket from you know how they have those photo things on there, and so the photo thing caught her license plate on the car that was being towed and sent her a ticket for $105. And then they told her, she told them, I wasn't even driving the car. It was on a tow truck. And they told her, then you need to talk to the enforcement ticket place that gave you the ticket. I'm like, wait a minute now. Have we gotten so, desperate, hard up in this world where we're now giving people speeding tickets for their car being on the tow? I mean, when you heard that should have made you laugh. Like, man, you got some proof about that. We'll let this go. But they told her, no, you got to go to the tow place. I mean, the video enforcement place to talk to them about it, man, because they gave you the ticket. They got this lady on a runaround to try to get this, which is ridiculous. And I'm trying to see if I can read this. Says, I'm at the center of getting a ticket in my car on a flatbed. I'm not even driving the car. Gibson said her van broke down on the side of the road on December the 20th. She told the television networks she was visiting her daycare center when the traffic violation occurred. You shouldn't be getting a ticket. She shouldn't be getting anything. They shouldn't be giving the tow truck driver a ticket or the people that are the tow company. Gibson contested the fine in East Cleveland Police Department, but she's said officials told her to refute the fine with the private company that operates the camera. Now, she's got photo evidence Oh, it's you know they give you something when you know when they tow in the car too. I mean, your insurance. I mean, she got insurance. The insurance probably has a record that the car was being towed. She get a ticket for it, babe.
That's totally ridiculous. Like I said, where was this at?
This was in East Cleveland.
See, I could see Chicago doing that. I'm sorry,
I
I'm
can
putting
see a
this
lot of
on
places
blast,
doing
but
that.
I can see us really doing that because your car's on a flatbed. I'm not sure if you in the tow truck with him. This man, the camera catches the nearest thing that they could see, your car. But of course, you got all the pictures showing that your car is being towed. That's the individual driving that truck moving that fast beyond the speed limits. But yet, I gotta prove even with pictures, I gotta prove to you guys that it was not me driving my car on the top on the flatbed to get this ticket. But the thing with all of this is, was there a quota that needed to be met in Cleveland, wherever you said they was at that time, that you gonna give this lady $105 or $125 ticket? It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, make this make sense to me, and it is not making sense.
Yeah, I mean the East Cleveland Council is at least fighting for her to expunge the ticket. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that. That's got to be on like America's Bloopers or something. You're gonna give me a ticket for my car being on a tow truck. The tow truck is speeding. You get my license and give the ticket to me. Now, I mean, you would think somebody would have sat there and said, wait a minute, this car looked like it's kind of high off the ground. I mean, I don't know. Not only is it speeding, it's floating over the concrete. I mean, and I'm looking at this picture, and I don't know if this is the actual picture of the car, because it does look a little bit different than her car. But if it's like that, you know, you would think that they would know that she shouldn't get the ticket. But hey, you know, life ain't life funny how they're gonna sit there and she has to fight this to go to the city council because she doesn't want her insurance to go up with this ticket on there, a speeding ticket.
What they hope is that you don't fight.
Of course they do.
Oh my God.
They don't want you to fight it. And we got about maybe about 40 more minutes. I want to go to some of the things that we're going to be doing here. Go do me a favor, talk about your Ife and stuff like that. I want to do the show things and the relationship letter if you have one.
Okay. Ife Designs is looking for you. Prom season is among us, and we need those invitations done, those banners, those send-off T-shirts done. It is happening right now. I'm your girl to make all of this come true, because in the next few weeks, it's going to be explosively crazy with junior proms, senior proms, outfits, parties. Things are so different now, babe, that it's like the days of us just taking a picture in our living room are gone. People spend so much money on prom send-offs, and that's more for the parents to me. But hey, if you want to do that, I'm your girl to give you the wow factor to make it look phenomenal. You could contact me at efakedesigns@gmail.com, on social media, on Facebook. You could DM me your request and leave your number. I will reach back to you. Or if you have my number, call me or text me, and we can make this happen, along with weddings and graduations and anything else and baby showers.
So, I mean, you can go to efadesigns@gmail.com. And also, I'm going to let you say, you know, since it's the Let's Stay Together talk show, you can send some to the email, let's stay together talk@gmail.com, and just say, I want to know more information about Ife Designs, and then we can reach you from there. So you've got efadesigns@gmail.com that you can ask for more information about the designs. She should have them out there on what is that thing called? Instagram. We got to work on that. You can look on
now too.
You can look at it on Facebook, but if you're trying to get in contact with us, you can go to efadesigns@gmail.com or you can just go to Let's Stay Together Talk Show at gmail.com and say, I want to know more about Ife Designs.
Okay, thank you, babe. Next up, Club 50. Got some great articles out there. You could check that out at theclub50.com.
Why does your voice sound like it went down?
I don't know. But you could check that out
Trying
at
to get sexy.
theclub50.com. Have a good interview coming up probably in another 2 weeks. So, yeah, check it out. Get on board. See what's happening at the CF, as I call it, the C50. Club 50 is here for you. Check us out. Love it and love you. So, you want to do the plays right now?
Yeah, let's do the plays.
Okay.
We had some good plays on there, and
We did?
one that did we? I mean, did we already talk about all the other good plays? I guess we
Yeah,
did.
we did. We
What
only
did we
have
see?
two.
Just two. Okay.
Right. The two right now is 4 Stars Apollo Theater, The Choir of Man.
Yeah.
That is playing until May 26, 2024. I was pleasantly surprised with this one. Shocked that I liked it so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like something that's spinned off from an Irish pub where the men are, coming together and, had a little drinks and they're singing some songs. And they've taken some current songs of today and some of the Irish folklore songs and they're singing it. It is tremendously uplifting, and it's like, a spark, it's just a spark from the, beginning and end. And I'm missing the words that I want to say. It's energetic. I mean, it's just, full of energy from beginning to end, and it's funny. The singing is good, the playing is good. It's really, a really fun show. If you're looking for just, about, I think it's about 90 minutes of pure entertainment, and it's a working bar. I got to make sure I say working bar because Kathy had to change that because I don't drink. I said an open bar, and she says, nah, an open bar means free. They have a working bar there, so you can actually go on the stage. For those of y'all who know how to handle your liquor, you can actually go on the stage and buy you some beer or some wine or something like that, and then get some chips. It's not like, you're not going to get any extravagant alcohol or anything like that. But
You'll get some ale.
you got some ale, or you can get some, some white wine, some red wine, and get, drink, and then enjoy 90 minutes of just pure energy. I mean, it's exciting. It's just something different that, we're really trying to get African Americans out to see more plays and productions. And this is fun. And they got a Chicago guy there, African American guy that does shows. He's one of the singers there too. So it's real fun. I think it's about 9 of them that sing.
Yeah.
And it's a real fun. It's very interactive. And they, sometimes they'll bring you some free beer. They'll throw some chips out there. I mean, it's really fun. So you're looking for something different, you can go to, what's the theater again? Apollo Theater. And check it out. Just want to tell you, the parking over there, you got street parking. You got behind the thing parking for like about $20. But I would say try to get there early so you can get some of the street parking, which would be much cheaper. So definitely go to Apollo Theater, the Choir of Men. 4 stars for that.
Yes, 4 stars. Going to Court Theater. Okay, the play is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. This is playing for another couple of weeks to April the 21st of this year. And we gave it 2.5 stars. Have not seen that low rating in a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some great plays, and every play is not for everybody. I just felt that for the audience that we try to reach, our goal with Let's Play Theatrical Review is to bring more African Americans into theaters. And not only that, by promoting more African Americans to go to theaters, we're also hoping that it will open the door for more African Americans to have positions or parts in theater, and also have more directors directing plays that are not just African Americans. So it's a cat up. I can't say anything right. It's just a step process, a stepping stone. You go from one thing to the next and that. But we need to bring more African Americans out to theaters so they can support African Americans in theaters. And so when you see those African Americans in theaters, they're going to want to promote or give African American directors and African American more playwrights. And it's not just going to be on Black History Month, So we're trying to bring that out. This play, we saw Rosencrantz and I forgot the Goldenstein, whatever.
They dead.
They're dead. I did not like it as much. I love Greek tragedy, Shakespearean plays. I just don't feel that. I mean, this play would reach a casual audience that will go see the play. I mean, I even believe seasonal theater people who go see this play will come out there not really knowing what really happened. And I think a lot of times people fall into the trap of saying, "Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that," because they want to feel like they're knowledgeable, and that's not what we're here for. We want people to go there and enjoy the play. You've got the Choir of Men. You've got Jersey Boys that there's at Mercury. You got Time Machine at the Black Ensemble. You've got Purpose at Goodman Theater. Steppenwolf, thank you. Steppenwolf Theater. You got Purpose at Steppenwolf Theater. These are some excellent plays for your entertainment. I just felt that this play you would have to work hard to understand it, and it just I said there's a reason why this play is not performed that much, because it's a difficult play to grasp, and I don't want to have people going out there trying to be theatrical, trying to act like they're a part of the Titanic where they're trying to fit in on something that they may not necessarily get. So I think for the even for the staunch person that goes to theaters constantly year after year, this one might be a little bit difficult. So for that reason, I gave it 2.5 stars, because I just think that casually people will say, why did they recommend this?
I truly didn't like it. It took me a while to warm up to Shakespeare plays, but over the years, I love the way they have been presented, the tragedy of it. Sometimes some of the plays have comedic backgrounds to it. This one was like you had to work while you're sitting there to understand it. It seemed like it was all over the place, and it's like, would I want to recommend this to someone to see? And the answer to that was no. But I do want to say this: coming up Friday at Northlight, we seen the music band before, and it was excellent. I'm hoping that Northlight would do justice to it as well, because that was a good play.
Yeah. So for those of you, again, you can go onto our website at Let's Play.
No, not Northlight. I'm sorry.
Okay, what are you going to say as you stop me in between?
I'm sorry.
So figure that out. Okay. You can go onto our website at Let's Play Theatrical Review and see our reviews out there. We're actually doing this to help you to see plays that are entertaining to you. That's why we have our own private website, not associated with any paper or anything like that, because we're trying to reach and entertain you and tell you about good places to go see play productions, which there are just numerous plays that are out there that are great. I think the Wit Theater right now has a play out called Love Song, and it's a small production there, but it's a powerful play. It's very funny. It's very entertaining. So we want you all to know the things out there that we feel that you would enjoy.
Yeah, the one play I was talking about was Hershey Felder as Monsieur Chopin. That's at Writers Theater. Hopefully that will be a good one, because once you see one that's not as good, you're like, okay, we need an uplifting play behind that. You're only as good as that next theater critic play that we're going to see.
So what you got for your relationship letter?
So you got that relationship letter here. Dear LSTT, I'm type 2 diabetic, and my doctor prescribed Ozempic to me to lower my blood sugar and A1C. Sure, I would like to lose weight. However, I can't even get the pen to use it because so many people who are not diabetic is using it, and now the prescription is hard for me to get. One of my coworkers who does not have diabetes uses it constantly only to lose weight. She has lost 40 pounds since taking the weight loss drug in December. She told me that she has gotten the unlicensed version of the drug in the online black market and is doing
Jesus.
her body good. Now, I admit I would love for the weight to come off too, but there has to be a better way. I'm struggling, I have insurance, but it's never available. LSTT, is it worth the risk to get the skinny jab, as they call it, from unregulated sources? Sincerely, the wrong diet kits.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. It's not worth the risk. It's a I mean they've said that Ozempic was help with losing weight, and people are doing that a lot. I think a lot of it started off with a lot of stars using it. They've got another generic brand that's similar to Ozempic out there now that's specifically for weight loss. However, because of Ozempic, it's been so popular, it is very hard for people who have, I think, diabetes to find the drug, and that's a shame that that's happening. The mass production, they just can't keep it out there. But she's probably doing great with that. Maybe she got lucky. But the black market things like that have been known to, really kill people and harm people. And you don't want to take that, Russian roulette process of trying to think that you're going to get the same thing. And so, it's bad that you're not able to get the drug. Maybe you could work with your doctor and pharmacist to try to see if they could schedule something where you can find it for your need. You'll be standing in line with a lot of people that are looking for it. But I definitely would not go to the black market and try anything out there, because you only have one life and it only takes one mistake. So the answer to that, is it worth it? No.
And I want to chime in on this because after reading
Please.
this letter, it made me want to do a little research on this. The legal prescribed Ozempic comes with potential risk, and it has a black box warning of thyroid tumors and cancer, along with the side effects that can be serious nauseation, vomiting up blood, constipation, and severe headaches and stomach pains. So, the wrong diet kits, can you imagine? That risk will be tremendously dangerous in the black market because it's not FDA protected. You don't know what they lacing this stuff with, where you could take the shot. So I suggest to you, as well as Rick, just say no and wait and see if they could prescribe another pill to help you with your A1C. Because isn't that the commercial we see with the cute full-figure girls singing and stuff?
No. That's
It's another one. Maybe you could try that one.
I got that's Jardians.
Jardian.
I take two Jardians and Easton.
I mean, it's saying it has something that was meant for people who have diabetes.
Yeah,
To
and I
have
mean,
to
and if it's something
suffer.
that you need in an emergency, some of the even hospitals could have something where they can give you temporary pills for that. But yeah, I mean, it's a popular thing now for weight loss, and I mean, I have seen a lot of stories where people have gotten really sick, and it's hurt them. Like you were talking about the side effects of taking that, because you have to be very careful with taking that Ozempic. I was actually thinking about taking it myself, and I talked to my doctor to help with losing some weight, but I'm just going to try the old-fashioned way of just eating properly and stuff like that. And hopefully it has been helping me with a little, losing some weight. Brenda's been bringing in these potato chips that I can't stay away from. And I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming me. But I've been doing pretty good on sweets, staying away from sweets and only drinking water. But, I mean,
really good with that.
yeah, I think the thing about it is that just take care of yourself and And if you need something, in an emergency situation, your doctor should be able to provide that for you, or hospital should be able to provide it for you. But don't go in the black market, because it just takes one thing laced with cyanide or some kind of other drug that they're filling up with that can cause you irreparable damages to the point where not only there are terrible things other than death too, because you don't want to be living in a bad situation just because you decided you want to lose some weight and went to a place where they're not doing any regulations, and you don't want to do that.
So I thank you, the Wrong Diet Kids, for sharing that, your transparency. We appreciate you, and we hope you make the right decision.
So, hey, I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to ask Kenny, because I don't know if I have any music here or not, but I'm going to ask Kenny I have one more. So I'm going to let Kenny play a song for us real quick for those of you on Soar Radio. But let me say this. Make sure you watch the JD Morning Show each Wednesday between the hours of 8 a.m. only on Soar Radio with Justin Kitty in the game. Not this Wednesday, they won't be out there, but every other Wednesday you'll see them. Catch that show because it's a great show. And if you're thinking about having your own show, you can contact me at soar@soarradio.com. That is soar@soarradio.com, and let them know you want to be on the 2-time Stellar Award winner for Best Internet Station of the Year. Let's hear this music, and we'll be right back. Man, I mean, that Ozempic thing is something, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kenny is like our who's who. It started off with a lot of stars, because I know Kim Kardashian and stuff were taking yeah, they were taking the celebrity, and so that's why it became so, came into phenomenon, because they started seeing the weight that they lost from taking those pills.
I do want to say this, though, babe. Sorry to jump in right at this moment. It's been out, but social media has made it popular. People, the people who really have diabetes were taking it first. But because they did not have TikTok, the other one, Instagram, Facebook, and showing their weight loss and everything, it was just a typical thing what they was doing. And now, because times have changed, and the celebrities got on the bandwagon and realized, wait a minute, the effects of this help you lose weight. Since we can afford it, let us get on the bandwagon and start using it. Like I said, something good to help people who have diabetes has went wrong.
I mean, yeah, you're right in some place, because social media, but it started to be very well used after the celebrities started using it. Yeah. And they started seeing the weight loss in them, and then social media took that and spreaded it to a point where everybody was interested in that, and it's been causing a problem with people with diabetic, because that's what it initially was. Now, Ozempic is not disappointed, because now they can sell it to millions of other people. They don't just have to sell it for diabetes. Now we could sell it for weight loss. I mean, so you're happy that, as a company, you're happy that other people are going to buy, because now I can sell more. But it does affect the people that need it the most, which is for diabetes, which it was initially for. So I don't know how somebody decided, I'm going to take this and it's going to help me lose weight, or how that happened. But there had to have been a guinea pig somewhere. But again, the black market is not where you start. Celebrities has millions of dollars that they can get a doctor that can really help them. You're going to some place in Canada or some other foreign land, Brazil or Mexico, where they're really not looking at some of these products as we might do in the United States, and there's no regulations. They can fill it with anything. I mean, heck, look at just off script about something totally different, but it's still black market. Look what happened with the Botox with people, or when they was getting their butt implants. I mean, it's people were dying from that, because they were putting things in there to supplement what they didn't have, and so
concrete.
You don't want that. So you got to be very careful with that. I know you got another story before. We got maybe a couple of seconds.
Tune me out. South Carolina women's head coach Don Staley is not apologizing for comments.
I'm sorry, baby. Stop with that. You know what? I want to read that as we end, and probably go back to the thing because this thing where keeping the fire alive, that was going to be like a conversation between me and you back and forth about what you need to do to keep the fire alive. But I want to talk about this so much so because you're hearing so much about Caitlin Clark, about how she, helped, bring the women's lead up, and she's the GOAT and all that, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking about all these wonderful things about her. They were saying so many negative things about the black girls. And then Dawn Stanley, I think it is. Staley gets on there and gives God the praise for what happened in her life. And they had some of the reporters that wanted to walk away or have her recant what she was saying. And I'm like, really? So you can do all this praise about this one girl, but when she gives praise to God, that's an issue. And
Are we talking about it now? Or you want to talk about it?
We're going to talk about it when we come back. We're talking about it now for our people on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. Kenny, you say something? Okay. All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo. We got about 15 minutes, about 14 minutes left on the show, and we're going to talk about the thing about, keeping the fire alive. I forget what this thing was called. It was called Keeping the Fire Alive. That's what it is. But we saw this article, and I want to talk about this because of the situation with the NBA, WNBA, and this happened to one of the coaches or the coach from the South Carolina team. So I'm going to have my baby read this off, and we're going to probably NCAA. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Tune me out. South Carolina women's head coach Dawn Staley is not apologizing for comments about believing in God. Her comment was the following: God he's really funny. The devastating loss that we had last year, led by Caitlin Clark, was in the hands of the Iowa Hawkeyes, to put us back here with a totally different scene. If you don't believe in God, something is wrong with you. Seriously. Now, in case you didn't catch it, the last part about something being wrong with you, something caught wrong with people that don't believe in God is what has some people up in arms.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying some of the reporters, and I want to thank Kenny, our producer. I did say WNBA, and this is the NCAA. This is the situation with Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah. This is championship game. Iowa Hawkeyes and the South Carolina. What's South Carolina's team's name again? Gamecocks. Reporters was talking about how the African American players looked and putting them down, and they're raising up Caitlin Clark. Now she's a exceptional basketball player. They're trying to maybe say she's like the Jordan, but I can see her being like Steph Curry because she's a great shooter, great passer, and she has brought more engagement to women's basketball, college women's basketball as of today. Now they've had some GOATs out there, and Dawn Staley was one of them. She was an excellent basketball player when she played with Virginia, but they are lifting up Caitlin Clark, and I gotta say this, don't listen to the radio station anymore. That's fine, because she's white. It's the same thing they did when Larry Bird came in there. And she deserves her accolade because she's good. But they talked about the black players, putting them down. And this lady gives honor and praise to God. And they want to complain about her doing it. And they wanted her to recant what she said. And she said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to turn away from what I believe. And if you don't know God, that's your issue. That's your problem. Shame on you. And I say, congratulations for standing up. That's what Christians need to do more. I'm tired of us trying to exalt an individual. We talked about this again. I love how God always brings this back into my mind. I see good. We look to the catapult or look at this how high an individual has been brought, and we want to just throw praises on them. Same thing that happens with Taylor Swift. They want to throw praises on Taylor Swift, and Beyonce is just as good. And there's no rivalry between them, but Taylor Swift gets much more money in her concerts than Beyonce does. And it's only because of the color of the skin. And this kind of stuff has to stop. Yes, Caitlin Clark is an excellent ball player. Don Staley said that. But God is excellent in everything he does. And yet you want to complain? You didn't complain about her, what you think you were doing. She shouldn't be saying that. You're complaining about who she's talking about. That's my issue. Even more over race, because I can guarantee you, if Caitlin Carr said, I got to give all praises to God. They said, see, she's such a spiritual and good person, and wholesome person, and she's so wonderful, and she's all this. We're going to just lavish everything we can on her. Lavish. We're going to give her everything. Here it is, a black coach who has proven how good she is in the collegiate field. She's now proven how good she's a coach. She's one of, I think, 4 coaches. Kenny, correct me on the 4 coaches that have won over 3 championships, and she's young and still can catch. Gino, who is, I think, won about 11. He's with UConn. But you think you complain about her. You're complaining about who she's talking about. That she shouldn't have brought up the name of God. And that's when Christians need to get just as upset as other groups who came out are upset when you say something about them.
Yeah, I do want to say this. She said, I am not going to apologize for what I said and what I feel because I know my life and I know why things have happened in my life. And I'm going to salute God as much as I can because I know it's not just my doing. I love that. And some people did come out and say they were proud of her sticking with her for what she believes in and standing by what she said. Because, I mean, like she said, she know who's her savior, who's doing things. It was just a statement.
Yeah. I mean,
God is really, really funny. We lost last year and this year. Look at us. I mean, come on.
but,
people.
it's more than a statement because it's like a double whammy. It's a black female and a black team who won over the white team because Iowa Hawkeyes are more white. They have, 1 or 2 black players, and one of them was a starter, young sophomore. I can't think of her name right now because I watched it. I love women's basketball. Exceptional games. They were better than the men. But like I said, if it was reversed and the other team said it, it'd have been like, this just is icing on the cake. They're showing how spiritual they are, how they love God, and they're going to be on Joel Osteen's show soon. I mean, they would have came about they're going to be the joy of Disney. I mean, all the accolades would have been on there. And I'm sure Christians have stood up for them. I'm sure some have. The problem of it is that the media is the one that control it, and they make the story look like she's done something wrong. And that's when we need to step up and say, hey, wait a minute. Fair is fair. Now, you can sit there if you've never seen this show before and think, he must don't like people. He racist. I didn't get on my people, too. I'm an equal stand up for God person. Do wrong, you don't should do it. If you'd heard the show, I said that the brother shouldn't have just got out the car. He shouldn't have fought against him. My problem is wrong. I don't care what color you are. It would have been wrong to me for them to trash that girl, white girl, Caitlin Carr, for saying God is good, or say she's, she ain't nothing but better, no other black person. All that's wrong because the girl is good. It's wrong. That's the thing that I have a problem with. You cannot stand on wrong and try to be righteous.
You just can't do it.
It's not biblical. And so if you're going to go to church on Sundays and you're going to stand on wrong and then declare yourself righteous, then you don't know God. Wrong is wrong. We as Christians are supposed to stand for the righteousness of God, and those are things that are outside of that are wrong. And so, hey, I'll give the girl an accolade. She's bad. I mean, she could shoot the ball just like Curry. I mean, just from anywhere. I mean, and you don't have to give it that much space. Boosh, it's gone.
Come on, Caitlin.
Yeah, I mean, she's bad. Now she's gonna have some learning curves when she gets up into that WNBA, because there were some bad sisters out there too. Now you coming with the elite. Now I mean, she's probably gonna still good, but she ain't gonna be walking in there like she's some superstar. Michael Jordan had to take his lumps before he became the Michael Jordan that you know. She's gonna take some lumps, but my problem is, wrong is wrong. You cannot be wrong and then say you're righteous.
So she's the number one
she's
female
gonna be the first
player.
Yeah, she's gonna be the first one to go out. Great player. But there's been some great players in women's basketball. I mean, that sport has really skyrocketed because of the exceptional play of women's basketball. If you're not watching that, I'm telling you, they're
There's
phenomenal.
something wrong with you.
They're phenomenal in their game. I mean, they have really stepped it up. It ain't like these girls can shoot, pass. I mean, they dribble. I mean, I'm like, whoa! You got this one girl on the South Carolina. It's a young freshman, 2 freshmen. They're gonna keep that program there for a while. But the fact of the matter is, you can't be wrong and try to be righteous. And so, Dawn Staley, congratulations for standing on your belief. And I say to anybody that's speaking against her, shame on you, because not only you speaking against her, you're speaking against her God. And that makes the righteous that you think you are wrong in the sight of God. We're going to be getting out of here. We got about a couple of minutes left. I'm going to let Kenny just, I remember Kenny said he don't really play any music when we get, so if I get off early, I'm losing about 2 minutes, but I'm going to get on out of here anyway. Baby, you got anything you want to say?
Love you guys.
Wow, that's as short as you ever spoke.
Okay.
Hey, we're going to get out of here. We hopefully see you all next Tuesday, 7 p.m. I want to give a shout out to those on Facebook and YouTube that are looking at the show, and also for the great people on SOAR Radio. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m.
Bye-bye.
Facebook, YouTube, same to you. Thank you very much. Please tell somebody while you're out there. Please tell some other people to start listening to the show. And if there's something that we're talking about that you want us to talk about, or you're saying, hey, I don't really want to talk, I don't want to hear about that, let us know. We'll listen to you. We ain't stubborn. We're not Trump. I mean, we'll listen to you. We want to know your feedback on what you think we should talk about on this show. And again, closer to the end of the year, we will be talking about a lot of politics, because it's going to be pivotal that you vote. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit more as well. Hey, we'll see you guys next week, 7 p.m. See you then.
Bye-bye.
What?